Germany's highest court has upheld the decision to exclude the far-right extremist party Die Heimat, previously known as the NPD, from receiving state party financing. Since 2021, Die Heimat has been barred from accessing state funds, and this ban has now been declared lawful by the Federal Constitutional Court. The extremist party will be denied public funding for a period of 6 years. This exclusion encompasses both tax advantages for the party and tax benefits for donations made to it. It is the first time a party in Germany has been banned from public funding. Let's cross over for more to our chief political editor, Michaela Kufner. Michaela, let's start with the immediate implications. What does this mean for the far-right Die Heimat, formerly known as the NPD?
Well, most people won't have heard of them, and that's for the very simple reason that they are not at all politically relevant in the Germany of today. They scored some successes in the 90s, but they really don't show up on the polling at all, below 0.5%. So this won't have any impact on the political party spectrum here in Germany and for the party itself. It only means that if somebody donates money to them or if there is an inheritance that this party makes, Die Heimat, the former NPD, it will no longer receive tax breaks. The last time that the NPD actually benefited from direct financing through the state was in 2020. So it's not like any cash payments or anything is cancelled for the NPD. They are insignificant, they will remain insignificant, and through this, for the next 6 years, they will have no chance of getting any kind of financial break or assistance to become significant again.
Now, Michaela, over this last weekend, we saw huge protests across Germany against the rise of the far right here, and particularly the Alternative for Germany, the AfD. Do you think there will be broader implications of this decision for German democracy?
Well, there won't be immediate effects. That's my prediction, for the simple reason that in order for this ruling to have happened against the NPD, there was a previous ruling that basically said, yes, they violate the Constitution, but they are not significant enough to be banned from the political spectrum. And this now feeds into the debate, also backed up by those demonstrations that we've seen, of how to tackle the far-right AfD here in Germany, which in parts is seen as extremist. One of its leaders can be legally called a fascist, Björn Höcke, that is. He's a leading figure. But for anything like this kind of financial ruling to take place against the AfD, the very same highest constitutional court here in Germany would first have to determine whether the AfD party indeed violates the Constitution, whether it has any kind of hallmarks of the former Nazis here in Germany. That's something that the court found in the case relating to the NPD, or Die Heimat as it's now called. And that's something that is still very much in the political debate here in Germany, with most parties, most leading figures shying away from actually putting that question to the Constitutional Court, because there's a very high threshold. And if the AfD was ruled constitutional, that would be a huge victory that could draw even more voter support.
So how likely is it, do you think, that we would see other political parties go ahead and do that?
It's very unlikely indeed. I think the interesting question now is whether this whole debate will cost the AfD in the polls. It's currently polling at around 20% nationally. In key eastern states going to the polls later this year, it's upward of 30%. At the moment, it's the strongest party in 3 eastern states, including Saxony, but also Thuringia, where this fascist leader is actually really determining the future way of the party. And that keeps pointing further to the right. The AfD is now more than 10 years old. It started off as kind of a conservative business anti-Euro party, and at every turn it took a turn further towards the extremist right. Now we see a silent majority taking to the streets, and I would expect that to have a lot more impact than any court ruling or process that would take a long time.
Michaela, thank you so much for sharing your insights with us. That is DW's chief political editor, Michaela Kufner.